The turquoise waters of the South China Sea churned with tension, their surface belying the storm of geopolitical rivalry brewing beneath. This region, a crossroads of global trade and national ambitions, has long been a flashpoint for maritime disputes and military posturing. On a sweltering September morning in 2025, the Philippine Coast Guard's BRP Teresa Magbanua set out on what was supposed to be a routine resupply mission to the grounded BRP Sierra Madre at 2nd Thomas Shoal. The crew, seasoned by years of tense encounters, prepared for another day in contested waters, aware that every voyage could become a headline. But this time, the stakes felt higher. A flotilla of Chinese Coast Guard and Navy ships shadowed its every move, their presence a silent but unmistakable warning. The Philippine vessel pressed on, dwarfed by the sheer number and size of the Chinese ships, yet undeterred in its mission. Suddenly, the choreography of intimidation went wrong. In the high-stakes ballet of warships and patrol boats, a single miscalculation can change everything. Two Chinese warships, attempting to block the Philippine vessel's path, collided in a moment of confusion and overzealous maneuvering. The world watched as the unthinkable unfolded in real time. The CNS Shuchang, a Type 054A frigate, scraped violently against the larger CNS Hohhot, a Type 052D destroyer. Steel met steel with a force that reverberated through both hulls, a testament to the risks of brinkmanship at sea. The screech of metal echoed far beyond the scene, a colossal, unforced error on a global stage. Sparks flew, and the sound of rending steel was captured by microphones and cameras, instantly broadcast to a world hungry for signs of weakness or escalation. Filipino sailors watched in disbelief, cameras rolling. Their footage would soon become viral, a symbol of both the dangers and absurdities of modern naval standoffs. The Shuchang, the aggressor in this maritime drama, suffered a long, ugly gash and a deep, concave dent above the waterline. The damage was not just physical, it was a blow to the image of Chinese naval invincibility. The Hohhot had only cosmetic scrapes, but the real damage was to China's naval reputation. In an era where perception is as important as firepower, this incident was a public relations disaster. No shots were fired, no missiles launched, yet the impact sent shockwaves through naval intelligence offices worldwide. Analysts pored over the footage, searching for clues about training, discipline, and the true capabilities of China's rapidly expanding fleet. For years, analysts had marveled at China's naval expansion, watching shipyards churn out new vessels at a staggering pace. But this single dent, captured in high definition, raised a fundamental question that echoed from Washington to Tokyo. China could build a massive navy, but how well were those ships actually built? The world was left to wonder. In the next crisis, would steel and resolve hold, or would more dents appear in the armor of a rising superpower? The drama unfolded at 2nd Thomas Shoal, a flashpoint in the South China Sea. Filipino Marines have held the grounded BRP Sierra Madre there for decades, asserting Manila's claims against China's sweeping ambitions. Every resupply is met with aggressive Chinese maneuvers. Now, on that day, the CNS Hohhot and CNS Shuchang tried to box in the Philippine vessel. The Shuchang accelerated to cut across the bow, while the Hohhot closed in from the other side. Instead of a precise maneuver, the frigate's helmsman misjudged the distance, resulting in a low-speed, high-impact collision. The Hohhot shrugged off minor scrapes, but the Shuchang's hull buckled with a deep dent. Forced to limp away, the Shuchang's humiliation was broadcast worldwide. The incident offered a rare, unfiltered glimpse behind China's carefully curated image of naval invincibility. To grasp the collision's significance, consider China's naval transformation. In just 2 decades, the plan has become the world's largest navy by ship count, over 370 battle force ships, surpassing the U.S. Navy. This fleet includes modern carriers, destroyers, frigates, and submarines, built at a pace never seen before. Ships like the Type 052D destroyer and Type 054A frigate are the backbone of China's maritime ambitions. The plan's order of battle is impressive on paper, with advanced cruisers, destroyers, and a growing submarine force. This rapid expansion, however, raises questions about quality. Building a ship is one thing, building a resilient warship is another. It requires advanced metallurgy, systems integration, and experienced crews. The 2nd Thomas Shoal incident brought these questions to the forefront. Is the plan a hollow force, or a genuine peer competitor with growing pains? China's naval buildup is powered by its industrial might. Its shipyards are the world's largest, churning out both commercial and military vessels at record speed. Modular construction and economies of scale allow for rapid production and quick technological upgrades. China's warships now feature advanced radars and missiles, rivaling Western technology. But speed comes with risks. Quality control can suffer, and shortcuts may be taken. A single weak weld or substandard steel plate can create vulnerabilities. The Dent in the CNS Chuchong may be a symptom of this relentless drive for quantity. It's a sign that China's naval foundations may not be as solid as they appear. The recent collision at sea starkly highlights a core difference between the US Navy and the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN. These two maritime giants approach naval power from fundamentally different philosophies, each shaped by their own history, geography, and strategic priorities. The US Navy has long prioritized quality, survivability, and cutting-edge technology. American warships are designed to take heavy damage and keep fighting, with crews rigorously trained for emergencies and battle damage control. These ships are built with high-tensile steel, multiple redundant systems, and robust internal compartmentalization. Every detail, from the hull to the electronics, is engineered for resilience and longevity in the harshest conditions. Incidents like the USS Cole bombing in 2000, where the ship survived a devastating terrorist attack, proved the value of this philosophy, showing that survivability can mean the difference between disaster and recovery. The US Navy bets on fewer, but far more capable ships, each one a floating fortress packed with advanced sensors, weapons, and defensive systems. China, by contrast, pursues a strategy of quantity, rapidly building a massive fleet to dominate by sheer numbers. The PLAN's shipyards are constantly launching new vessels, aiming to outnumber any potential adversary. In this approach, individual ships may be seen as more expendable, with replacements always ready to take their place. The focus is on maintaining a large, ever-present force at sea. The Suchang's dented hull suggests the use of commercial-grade steel, cheaper and faster to produce, but less resilient under fire. This choice reflects a willingness to accept some vulnerability in exchange for rapid expansion. It's a deliberate trade-off. Maximize the number of ships, even if it means each one is less robust. The PLAN's shipyards operate at a relentless pace, churning out new warships to fill the ranks. China may believe that in a future conflict, launching more missiles from more ships will matter more than the survivability of any single vessel. Overwhelming firepower and saturation attacks could tip the balance in their favor. This is a strategy of attrition, designed for battles close to home waters, where damaged ships can be quickly replaced or repaired. But this approach raises important questions. In a real, high-intensity fight, how would these ships hold up? Would quantity truly triumph over quality, or would vulnerabilities be exposed in the heat of battle? Can quantity really replace quality in modern naval warfare? As the People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, rapidly expands its fleet, this question becomes more pressing than ever. On paper, a larger navy might seem more intimidating, but the reality is far more nuanced. Warships are incredibly complex systems. Failure in just one area, whether it's propulsion, electronics, or weapons, can cripple the entire vessel and compromise a mission. Every component must work in harmony, and even minor oversights can have major consequences. The PLAN's rapid growth strains its ability to train skilled crews. New ships require not just sailors, but highly trained specialists who understand both the technology and the art of naval warfare. Seamanship and damage control are not skills learned overnight. They require years of experience at sea, facing real emergencies and learning from mistakes. Something that can't be fully replicated in a classroom or simulator. The clumsy collision of a PLAN warship hints at this experience gap, suggesting that rapid expansion may be outpacing the development of essential skills. Sustaining a large fleet also demands robust logistics and reliable machinery. Without a strong support network, even the most advanced ships can be sidelined by breakdowns or supply shortages. Reports suggest Chinese warships often face mechanical issues and require constant maintenance, raising questions about long-term reliability and readiness. The US Navy's focus on survivability is tied to its global mission. Its ships must operate far from home for extended periods, often in hostile or unpredictable environments. In contrast, China's current strategy assumes battles will occur near its shores, where damaged ships can be quickly replaced or repaired, and logistics are less of a challenge. But as China's ambitions grow, and its Navy ventures further afield, the ability to operate independently, far from home ports, will become crucial. In these distant waters, resilience and self-sufficiency matter most. The most effective navies combine numbers with quality, balancing fleet size with advanced technology, rigorous training, and proven reliability. China is making progress, but the Zhuchang incident exposes vulnerabilities in its mass-produced ships, highlighting the risks of prioritizing quantity over quality. The Dent may not represent the entire fleet, but it's a warning about the dangers of rapid, quantity-driven expansion without matching improvements in training, maintenance, and operational experience. The real test for the plan will come when these ships are far from home, under fire, and forced to rely on their crew's skills and the ship's resilience, where only the best-prepared navies truly prevail. The Dent on the Zhuchang tells a story. Naval architects know that how a hull deforms reveals much about its construction. The Zhuchang's deep, smooth dent suggests softer, more ductile steel, likely commercial grade. Military-grade hulls use harder, more resilient steel, designed to resist bending and penetration. Softer steel is cheaper and faster to work with, ideal for rapid production, but it makes ships more vulnerable to missile strikes and explosions. The collision was a real-world test, exposing a potential critical weakness in China's mass-produced frigates. While China's top-tier destroyers and cruisers may be built to higher standards, the bulk of its fleet could be far less resilient. In conflict, these ships might suffer heavy losses, undermining China's numerical advantage. The Dent is a warning. Impressive exteriors may hide fragile cores. Is the plan truly a tofu-dragged navy? Not so fast. The collision was a low-speed, oblique impact, complex physics at play. The visible damage may not reflect the ship's overall combat resilience. Warships aren't uniformly armored, some hull sections are thinner by design. The Zhuchang's dent may have occurred in a less protected area. Quality varies between shipyards and batches. The Zhuchang was an early model. Newer ships may use better steel and construction techniques. Judging the entire plan by one older frigate is misleading. Also, the most dramatic images came from the Philippine Coast Guard, which has its own agenda. Western observers may see what they want to see. A single dent is revealing, but it doesn't tell the whole story. What does this mean for the US and its allies? The second Thomas Shoal collision is a valuable data point, not a definitive answer. The plan is not a tofu-drag navy, but its mass-produced ships likely don't match US standards for survivability. Numerical superiority doesn't guarantee dominance. Even with some structural weaknesses, China's navy is a formidable challenge, especially near its shores. China is learning fast. Today's weaknesses may be gone tomorrow. The US must focus on its strengths: technology, training, and alliances. Crew proficiency remains critical. The collision was ultimately a failure of seamanship. The US should accelerate next-generation capabilities to offset China's numbers. The dented frigate is a symbol of uncertainty. China's navy is big and growing, but its true combat performance remains untested. Until then, the world must respect the plan's power, but remain clear-eyed about its vulnerabilities.